Hello again, this is Victor James, author of the Megacosm, and I know I've only mentioned this like in passing a few times, and I've did a couple videos about this, but I absolutely love Transformers. All my friends know I love Transformers. I have stacks of them in the closet. I probably have too many. I have a lot of the comics. I have a certain timeline in my head, so I don't want to get into it now. It gets really complicated, but there's certain Transformers I accept and some I don't. Pretty much anything with Simon Furman I do not like, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I want to react because Hasbro did something pretty funny. I have to admit, this is kind of funny. And they apologized for the death of Optimus Prime that happened in 1986. Now, for people that don't know, understand 1986 is a long time ago, and I was a real little kid when this happened, and it ruined some kids' childhoods. I do remember that. I remember hearing about kids going out of this theater crying, and others kids locking themselves in their bedroom, and just kids having breakdowns because we just never seen anything like this. And I can tell you from experience that we saw the commercials for Transformers the movie, and we never had any clue that this was going to happen. None of us thought that we would see our beloved hero Optimus Prime die. It really was jarring. I mean, think about it. There was no internet. So there was no spoilers. There was, no teasing. They kind of teased it in the commercial. They actually teased it in the commercial. I remember when I was little, there was a commercial that says, "Does Optimus Prime really die?"
There's everywhere in 3 days. Transformers, the movie.
It's over, Prime.
Does Prime die? Transformers, the movie. Rated PG. Opens in 3 days.
Of course, they say that every commercial, every toy commercial is this the day that Duke dies, is G.I. Joe ruined forever. You always had these commercials when back in the 80s. So you really didn't think this was going to happen. So it did happen, and Hasbro, I guess it's been 40 years. I can't believe it was 40 years, man. I'm so old. But it's been 40 years, and they just had a kind of tongue-in-cheek apology, doing a whole year-long tour for ruining some kids' childhood. And I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie. This was pretty funny because this was the best thing Hasbro has ever done. I'll say this right now. This is the best thing Hasbro ever done, and they know it. They know that this is the thing that Hasbro and Transformers will always be known for, is Transformers the movie, and how brutal it was, and how it just changed pop culture. It really did have a pop culture effect, and did mess up a lot of kids' childhood. Like, actually, this part here, you can hear, I don't know, some of these people don't look old enough to be around from back then, and some of them just look like, paid influencers, but there are some that were, pretty old looking, so I'm pretty sure they were around back then, and maybe some are just, really good fans, but I don't follow Transformers influencers too much, so that's probably who they are, but this was still funny anyway. Let's go ahead and play this.
Optimus Prime right now?
What the heck?
No!
I'm still not over it.
You killed a piece of my childhood.
现在看到还是难以接受。
It just killed me.
I'm still grieving.
You're still talking about it.
Thank you for that childhood memory of pain.
To all the loyal fans, we hear you and we feel your pain.
It's rough out.
So yeah, they just pretty much go ahead and just make a little joke about it. I mean, this is of course their they're employed to sell toys. They're gonna do a whole tour, go on a tour. I guess they're gonna have. I don't know if you guys ever heard. There's a TF Con, Transformers Con. So they're probably gonna have at the TF Con, they're just gonna have booths set up about apologizing. And of course, they want to sell a lot of their toys. Now, if Hasbro wanted to apologize about anything, it should be their toys. I mean, their toys are terrible right now. Go check out my friend's channel, Random Rick Reviews. He does a couple reviews on some Transformers toys. They're awful right now. And I think we'll see some in this commercial. They are not what they used to be when I was growing up. I mean, they're made of die-cast metal. Yeah, here we go. Here's some of these toys here. These are all plastic. All plastic. If you touch any of these toys, they're going to feel like they break. If you transform any of these toys, it's going to feel like they're going to break in your hands. These are all plastic. There's not, the only metal maybe in the joints, but these are all plastic pieces of crap, and they are expensive. These toys are going to be like $25, $30, and that's insane for these level of toys. So if they want to apologize about anything, apologize for the crappy toys that they come out with, especially since the fact that China and Japan still make high quality Transformers toys that are really high quality with die-cast metal and some hard plastic, especially compared to these. These are going to break in your hands. A kid cannot play with these toys right now. So if this Hasbro wouldn't apologize about anything, it should be the toys. But as far as the movie goes, they really don't have nothing to apologize for. This didn't ruin my childhood. They treated us like adults, and I appreciated that as a kid. This was a devastating scene. It broke my heart as a kid. I don't think I cried. Well, I might have cried. I just remember sitting on my dad's lap because he was like, "Get over here," because it was a teachable moment. Like, hey, he died a hero. This is somebody you can actually look up to. This is a great role model for the kids. So my dad kind of just did it as a teachable moment, and I took it as that. I really didn't think they had nothing to apologize for. And I love the rest of the movie. I mean, it was great to see Hot Rod go on his hero journey, and he get spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it. But Hot Rod go on his hero's journey, and become the leader that that was chosen by Optimus Prime. And so I thought that was awesome until the seasons afterwards, where Rodimus Prime became this whiny little trash hero that just begged for Optimus Prime to come back. And they made a mistake because it didn't take but 2 seasons of Rodimus Prime just screwing up as a leader before they brought Optimus Prime back in a pretty decent story. But it must have been really bad because like I said, this was before the internet, so I don't know how truly bad it was. But I remember a lot of us kids were sad the next day and going to school like, I can't believe that happened. Did you see? And we actually exaggerated. We made up stories because that's what kids do. Like this happened in the movie and that happened in the movie, and some of that stuff didn't happen, but it was devastating just seeing Optimus Prime turn into this the black figure and just on the bench like that. That was just tough to see as a kid. You just weren't expecting it, but I thought it was a teachable moment. They have nothing to apologize for, but I do think it's funny that they apologize for it. And I do appreciate the hustle of them, taking advantage of that. It's been 40 years, and to sell some more of their crappy toys to adults who had to endure living through this as a kid. And there's one more point. They actually made a funny joke that most people don't pick up on as far as Transformers movies go. Hold on, let me get there. And let me play that.
All year long.
Absolutely, positively, definitely. I wouldn't do it any other way at all.
It's the Transformers the Movie, the Apology Tour.
What did he say the name was?
Wait, it's actually called the Transformers the Movie?
That's a question you should ask yourself.
Yeah. So most people don't pick up the fact that it's called The Transformers the Movie. That's just bad grammar. You're just not supposed to use the and the like that. But that's just funny that they actually made fun of that because people have been talking about that, and it's just something that inside joke to Transformers fans. But anyway, I thought I'd react to this because I thought it was pretty funny, and there was a decent video. And Hasbro, if you want to apology accepted for killing Optimus Prime, because that was a great death. If you're gonna go out at all, go out as a hero, fighting your nemesis. Even though Megatron won because he lived longer. But Hasbro, if you're going to apologize for anything, apologize for your crappy toys and try to upgrade those and maybe throw a little metal in there every once in a while and justify that price. But anyway, that's all I got to say about this. God bless you and keep you. That's it, I'm done. I also want to remind you about my first book, In the Megacosm Fiasco Adventures, that's available on Amazon. This is the first book in the Megacosm that kind of gives you the groundwork of what the Megacosm is all about. It's not a must-read before my second book, The Reekerman, comes out in a few months, but there are some characters that cross over. And I also want to remind you about my novelette, The Mark, which is available on Amazon for 99 cents. This book is actually selling very well these days. People are really enjoying it, so I'd go ahead and give this a pickup too. I mean, it's only 99 cents. And just one last reminder that my website, themegacosm.com, is available for you to read short stories for free, and you can actually go and read my Megacosm thoughts, and actually have a gallery for my characters, and I have linked to my videos and some other articles that you probably haven't read that you don't know that since I write for bleedingfool.com. But that's all I want to say about this. God bless you and keep you. That's it, I'm done.